Hi guys, welcome back. It's such a pleasure to be on live. I am live from Las Vegas. This is where my parents live. So I'm actually traveled to Las Vegas in early March, and I have been staying with my parents as the coronavirus situation got worse. I am staying here longer and longer. So it's not a bad place to stay because I can have quality family time when I'm not traveling, which I badly needed as well. Taking care of my mom and catching up with my family here in Las Vegas. Again, thank you so much turning into the live. We'll be doing an hour live, and just to give you a bit of housekeeping things first is today we will discuss on aviation win giveaways. So the let me show you the giveaway today we will have is the KLM 747-400 diecast Gemini Jets model. And then also we will have extra models, the Air New Zealand all black and the Virgin Atlantic A340-600. So the Virgin and KLM is on the verge, if not has already been retired. I think KLM 74 is still flying, but Virgin has already retired the 340. So it will be a good takeaway home gift if you win that. So the giveaway link is in the description of this live stream. So if you go there to enter, it's very simple. And I will be adding more. If there are more entries, I will be adding more results, adding more gift, just to give everybody have more chance to win. Okay, just let me switch back to the screen. All right. So I just before we start with answering some of your questions and thoughts about the current climates we are in, I just want to say that really human beings are very, very small in front of this virus. The virus have no border. It transmits across the globe like this. Bill Gates was commenting earlier. I was reading his comments saying, life is a cycle. It's a cyclical thing. So you got high and lows in your life. And obviously, this is a challenge. We're all in together on this. And the quicker we can get through this, the better things will return to normal. How to get quicker to get through this, I believe, is to stay safe at home. So even as a travel blogger, this is probably very rare and strange to having me telling you, don't fly right now and don't travel right now unless it's essential, unless you have to. We have seen a lot of borders being closed. We have seen a lot of airports being closed. We have also saw a lot of airlines being grounded at the moment. So let's hope that we can get quicker to get through this by staying safe. And your health is the most important thing after all. During difficult time like this, this is why we need to turn into our hobby and passion. Even we couldn't fly and travel, we could still enjoy talking through it at home, looking through the videos, winning a giveaway and enjoy live chat. If the live chat is popular, then hopefully we can have it every week at this time of the day. Okay, so now let's have a look at some of your comments, and I will highlight here. I have one person just say, do you have to pay for plane seats? Of course I pay for it. Do you expect something free? There's no free lunch out there, you know. I remember there's another younger guy from India. He came to me one day, say, Sam, how do you have money paying first business class? Let me tell you, I'm a much older guy. I'm not a graduate. I'm not young. I'm almost 40 years old. So you would expect I have some savings. I've been working 15, 16 years in the corporate world before I've been doing full-time travel blogging. So I do have a lot of investment and savings. So, and 75% of my flights are paid by miles or paid by cash. The other 25% are flights that are invited by airlines on delivery flights or exclusive content making flights, such as unique events like the London to Sydney, world's longest nonstop on Qantas, things like that. So let me see if there's any other interesting comment here. Okay, another person looks like you're from India as well, right? Arvinda. Sam, how do you manage to take permission from the authority for everything you do in the airport? This is something I also want to talk about because it's not been clear. Lots of people have lots of you know, some sort of guesses how I get this, because the most important thing, no matter what you do, doing what I'm doing or doing what you're doing, is lifelong connections. You need to make connections with people to be success in your business, no matter what you do. So and I've been aviation enthusiast for the last 20 years. I met probably over thousands of people in the hobby, in the industry, in conventions, in exhibitions, in air shows. So a lot of times people just seeing, Sam, you are doing good, and I would love to give you access, invite you to do something along. So it's very important that you focus on what you're doing and continue to enhance your knowledge. Then you will have a good chance slowly building up your credential. It doesn't happen in one day, 1 year. It probably will take 5 years, 10 years. So it's a very long-term game. It shows your passion. It shows your tenacity. It shows how resilient you are, you know, with your undying faith towards what you like. So it's going to be a very long, and you're going to take every little step and opportunity at the time. Okay, Kia ora. Okay, let me have a look. Look, yeah, I don't know where's Fairbury. If you have to cancel the flight, second time cancel the flight, that's unfortunate at the moment. Yeah, I've got too many comments coming in right now. So what I do is I might not able to read through all of these. So I'm just, from time to time, my eyes get a glimpse on it. Then I will just quickly get back to you. I'm sorry I could not answer all of them. It seems like there's overwhelming response here, but I do appreciate all your questions. Hopefully I can get through as much as I can. Why are Emirates aircraft grounded in DWC rather than DXB? Obviously due to lack of space. DXB is still a fully operational airport because of there's still a lot of cargo flights coming in. Even passenger flights are grounded and suspended in the UAE at the moment. You can see UPS, FedEx are still coming in. DWC has only one runway, but they have a lot of land, and the planes are right now parking on the taxiway. Also, the planes are also parked in DXB as well. And I will try to get some pictures from DXB one day to show you what the circumstances. I believe you can look at Flight Radar 24 app. On the app, there is a ground level. So on the ground, see how many planes are there. Right. Let's have a look at the next one. So how do you participate flights like Qantas research flights? Normal booking or you get chose? That was by invitation only. So, you know, a lot of airline these days do consider me as a part of the media, although I'm more of a social media person on YouTube and Instagram, but they do consider that I do have a good content creation power or ability. So yes, a lot of airlines inviting me. That's, you know, along the way, like I earlier said, you build your connections along the way. It doesn't happen in 1 day or 5 days or 10 months. It happens in long term, that slowly and slowly, if you have a good name in the industry, airline will recommend other airlines among the industry. The industry is built on your reputation, obviously, any industry. So if you have a good reputation, you're very serious into this, you will get invited on some of these very privileged flight. So I have to say I am very privileged at the end. Are you scared of COVID-19? As a human being, we always scared of things like this, obviously, and I'm no exception. I am scared of that, but however, I also remain fairly positive to think we will get through this by the summer. You know, I have mentioned in the beginning of the video that the quicker we get through this, the things will return to normal. How do we get through this quicker is to be safe, staying at home, stop it spreading around, and just to also apply personal hygiene, washing your hands. So every time if I go out to get some grocery or things, I will always come back to wash my hands. And I would not recommend travel at the moment. I would not recommend non-essential travel against all of that, just to try to get things through. The thing about also, if you go out a lot, you might also affect a lot of other people, just to be very considerate. Please say the UAE aviation rules now. So the rules is saying that all the flights will be suspended for 2 weeks starting from today on the 25th of March. So there is no passenger incoming and outgoing flights. So literally the sky over Dubai, it will be quite empty, except cargo flights and humanitarian flights. Did you know Korean Air A380 LAX? No, there is no more Korean Air on A380 LAX. Have you ever got scared in turbulence? Yes. During very violent turbulence or very sudden turbulence, everybody will be scared and somebody will yell. And, this is just normal because of the motion. Thinking about riding a roller coaster would be like that. However, during turbulence time, you can try to have a mindset telling you this is just normal. The plane going through when there's a weather system here, the plane have to go through like a washing machine, right? You will expect to have turbulence. When you expect something to happen, then you will feel less scared because you already built that expectation in. This is a good question. I've been asked a lot too. In all the airport you travel, which is your favorite airport? Because I am an av geek, I'm also a photographer, a plane spotter. I consider different favorite airport for different purpose. So my favorite airport to travel as a traveler through will be Singapore. And but however, my favorite airport for plane spotting, take a guess. Anybody know? I think I already gave you a lot of hints if you watch my video. It is Los Angeles and London Heathrow. These two, London and Los Angeles, have amazing varieties of wide bodies and also the planes, and nonstop every minute there's landing. So it's great variety airport for me. Any thought on Boom Supersonic? I don't have a lot of information on that one. I believe there are 3 companies out there competing on supersonic. One of them is Aerion. Aerion, A-E-R-I-O-N, is a company that does the supersonic business jet. So they do a niche because they think in the business jet market segment, there's more demand for this kind of supersonic. Obviously, it will be very costly. Boom will be sponsored by JAL, Japan Airlines. It remains interesting in a couple of years' time to see the idea, because many years ago when Tesla say we have electric cars, nobody would believe it, right? So time will reveal right now. I don't really have a lot of information on this one right now. Have you flown from East Midlands Airport? Yes, I've flown an Antonov 124 in January out of East Midlands to Toulouse. If you watch, there is a video of Volga Dnieper Airlines, Antonov 124 out of East Midlands. Unfortunately, I've flown out of a cargo terminal. I didn't fly out of the passenger terminal, so I still haven't flown as a passenger from a passenger terminal. Have you ever been to Kurdistan, Iraq? No. I believe that's Erbil and Suleimania. I have friends who's been there, and that doesn't require a visa. But at this current climate, I'm against travel. So hopefully when normalcy return, this could be one of the destinations. What's your favorite airline? So I have been very, very open. There's more than one favorite airline for me. I enjoy flying on Singapore Airlines. I enjoy flying on Emirates, Etihad. I enjoy flying even in my childhood time with the old United Airlines, Air France. There's a lot of airline I love because I have such great memories on lots of airlines, like very quality airline, ANA, EVA Air, Qantas, Air New Zealand. So lots and lots of favorite airline, really. This is a good question. Do you fly every 1 week? So I generally fly maybe about average, maybe once a week. I fly maybe about, sometimes I say 120 times a year. That sounds really bad and really high, but a lot of these travel are done intensively within the 1 or 2 week window. Then I'll be home for 2 weeks to rest and to sort out my content, to edit my video, to blog about my stuff. So it's not like I'm constantly flying. I need a rest, and my body need a rest as well. So I am looking after my body as well. So it's more so, I fly a lot during the intensive travel 2 weeks on period. Then I have 2 weeks off. What's my opinion on Fly B? It's obviously sad. I feel so bad for the people and the regional town who lost the service of Fly B, because I actually flown Fly B quite often. I've flown the Fly B across Europe in regional flights like Toulouse to Manchester on Embraer, Dash 8 from London City to Edinburgh, to Dash 8 Aberdeen to Manchester. Even long ago, when Loganair was operating under the franchise of Flybe, I've flown the Twin Otter to Barra, from Glasgow to Barra. So Flybe flies a lot of unique routes that serve regional communities. So this is a big loss, I think, really. But the UK government done their study saying we won't spend our taxpayers' money on something that there's no future clear return. If the airlines continue running losses like that, they were not going to bail it out. So Flybe, unfortunately, is the first casualty of the airline. What's your worst experience trying travel? I would like to really come back to say at this point that I enjoy all my flights, even though if it's in economy, a low-cost airline, or very ordinary airline. I still enjoy the takeoff. I still feel very excited boarding the flight, check out whatever things inside the plane. I really very rarely have a worst experience. I have delays and all that, but then, you live through times. It might be bad at that moment. It happened when you have a 3-hour delay to 12-hour delay. The worst experience probably is when you felt sick during travel, when you have food poisoning, when you couldn't eat, when you couldn't sleep well, and you couldn't rest well. You have headaches or very severe jet lag. Coming to the US, sometimes you do have jet lag if you come from Asia or long way from Middle East, because it's upside down the timing. So after a few nights to adjust, you might do better. So I would say I don't have a lot of worst experience for airlines or with the staff or whatever, because I generally are very positive and I never really receive bad experience on like that. But it's probably due to the health sickness and stuff like that. What's the quietest plane have you ever taken? It probably have to be A350 at this point. A380 is very quiet on the upper deck as well. I will tell you some of the loudest plane, maybe, if you want to know. The loudest plane I've flown on will be Illusion 86 and the Concorde. Illusion 86 is, 4-engine designed in Russia, designed the USSR, Soviet Union, that noise was not an issue at that time. Pollution was not an issue at that time. So their engines, the turbofan bypass engine, were very weak, and they produce lots of noise pollution. In Concorde also, you have the sonic boom, you have the afterburner to kick in. It's like a fighter jet, so it's considerably noisier. Okay, I think there's just too many comments right now. I would come back to a point. There was someone asking about US, but I couldn't find your questions there. It just went through so many flashing through the screen. But there was a person asking me, what's my favorite airline in the USA right now? The airline industry in the US is really interesting. It has its own idiosyncrasies. People treat flying in the US more like going to a bus stop or bus station to get on a bus. It's so frequently traveled. There's not much glamour in the plane, as you have observed. And if you've flown in the US domestic, you know what the deal is. It's all about frequent flyer status, to avoid paying a bag, to try to get a complimentary upgrade, to be board early, to get used to overhead bin space. So I don't really have a favorite US carrier domestically. I would say internationally, I'm still a United guy, although I do believe Delta also have very superior products. I'm not much of an American Airlines guy, I must have to say. I never have been that much, although I've flown their 78 one time and the 777 one time. I was quite impressed with their bedding, and the seats was good. But historically, I've been with United since '93. I'm almost a million miler, so I am more of a United person. Yeah, thank you, Air New Zealand. Yeah, here, let me show you. This is the all black, like just like me. I'm dressing all black as well. Air New Zealand 777. This is part of the giveaway today, the model. So if you're interested, enter the giveaway in the video description link. Here, I have a person asking, what's my opinion on Cathay Pacific? I just got a refund, but they have a bad financial state. You're very lucky to have a refund on Cathay because I've been reading a lot of news. All the airlines these days, when they have a financial issues, when they have cash flow issues, they are not able to give you money back. They were able to issue you only a travel voucher to be used the next 12 months, try to defer their capital cash flow expenditure, try to save the cash flow, avoid bankruptcy. So Cathay is very interesting. Cathay has been hurt long before the coronavirus. It has been hurt during the civil unrest in Hong Kong. The demand has been soft since then, and so, but they're still able to give you a full refund. So, I've been very impressed with the Cathay's policy. Look, this is something during negative time like this. Lots of times, companies should be praised their policy, like Cathay. I truly think Cathay is still one of the top airline out there. They have done a lot of cost cutting over the years, but if you look at the principle they've been running, they're a very conservative company. They still honor the refund. So that is a great sign for you. And when normalcy returned, I think you should go back flying on Cathay, and we should all support a company like that to let the company continue to survive and preserve. Yeah, I have one question. Sorry, I clicked too late. So the question earlier is, have I ever flown an Indian airline? Yes, I've flown Air India 787, and long ago I've flown Air India 747-400 from Jeddah to Hyderabad to Mumbai. I have also flown long ago, this is before probably a lot of you were born, I have flown Air India 747-300 Combi from Bangkok to Tokyo Narita on, I can't remember the flight number at the moment on my head, but it was a pretty popular flight, twice a week, run from Mumbai to Delhi to Bangkok to Narita, like a milk run in those days, in the late 90s. So yes, I've flown a lot of these. How do you afford so costliest flights? I have answered this earlier, but I just want to say again for those who haven't been here yet, is I am 40 years old nearly, and I have a lot of savings, and I've been working for 15 years professionally in my life. So I do have a large amount of savings, and I'm also I've been paying for all these flights and using miles on lots of flights to get upgraded. So you think about it, a lot of younger guys come to me just think that, Sam, how on earth you can afford it? But when you're in the older age like me, you can. When you become more successful in your career, when you have savings, of course you can fly just like me. Yeah, so what do I think about KLM? I think KLM is one of the very traditional, very old airline, legacy airline, but has a lots of creativity, because KLM is, just one second, I will tell my mom to switch off my live right now. She's watching my live in the other room, okay, because it's creating some echoing here. Turn that off, please. I'm doing live. Can you turn off everything? This is so interesting. You have my mom watching my live downstairs, and well, she can come upstairs and say hi to the screen later. So yeah, where am I? The KLM. KLM is really a creative airline that came up with very good environmental policies, which this is why when I was in Netherlands in last December, I realized I need to work with KLM to ask them to show me what environmental initiative they provide to make to make aviation more sustainable from an airline perspective. And I think KLM is absolutely the leader in this field. And I'm really glad in January I went back to Holland. They were able to show me a lot of cool things they did with maintenance on 3D printing recycled material, and also doing lots of recycled plasticware that can be washed and reused, which is good. It's not throw away. And also showing me the pilot, what they, the ATC coordinate with the pilot, so they have a quicker time on taxi, consume less fuel during taxi, after landing, and before takeoff. Okay. Yeah, what do you think about South African Airways? Will you fly them again? Yes, I have flown South African Airways long ago on A340 before I start making videos. That was also on a route they closed from Buenos Aires to Johannesburg. It's very sad what SAA is, very much like a state-owned airline that goes into financial difficulty every now and then, like Alitalia, Olympic, and SAA. So really, SAA need to kind of restructure and reorganize the whole thing. The whole mentality on state-owned airlines is so different to private-owned airline. It's not much of a profit-driven, process-driven. It's more sort of bureaucracy, and lots of people who work in the airline may not have the best understanding of aviation. So they run an airline without the best understanding and best experience, then the airlines, it will suffer, and the people working in the airlines suffer. I'm sure there's a lot of great people work for SAA and lots of great pilots. They now flown with Emirates. They now fly with other airlines. They leave South Africa, which is rather sad. It's very important to maintain a long-haul a long-haul airline flag carrier in South Africa to connect South Africa with the rest of the continent. That's my view. Okay, PIA. I have a lot of Pakistani fans that has been really want me to do PIA review. At this moment, I am not thinking about doing that. I hope you're not angry while I say that, just being very honest, because PIA hasn't got lots of new airplanes and lots of different stuff. Although I do plan maybe at some stage later in a year or two, visit Pakistan again to go to Skardu, because I haven't been to Skardu. I've been to Gilgit. I've been to Karachi and Gilgit, but when PIA have some new airplanes or new products out there, and there is a better chance to make a good content, there's a lot of great pilots and good people at PIA. I have been to Pakistan in 2012, which I was blown away. There was literally 0 tourists. So I was treated really well. I was allowed to go into the cockpit to fly, invited by the airline presidents and CEO to tour the tour hangar in Karachi. So it was a very memorable trip for me, and it will probably last a lifelong experience flying over the Himalayas. I mean, the K2 mountains to go over the Gilgit. Yeah, Qatar Airways is still one of those still fly at the moment. It's still currently flying. A large amount of fleets are still flying at the moment, and it's interesting to see how long they will fly. There's a bit of two-school argument on Qatar. Is they are either now linking, one of the last carrier linking the world globally, or I don't know why they're still flying so much. And lots of people say, can you care about the crew's well-being? Because Qatar is one of the last airline out there braving out there in the current coronavirus situation. Go to Fiji Airways, I'm telling you, Mo, plans to go to Fiji is being canceled early March. Plans to travel to Germany to the Aircraft Interior Expo, that's been canceled on 30th March. A plan to Fiji was canceled because it's just not viable due to all the current crisis. And also I have planned to fly on Bamboo Airways from Vietnam and go to Vietnam in late March on their launch flight to Prague. So first long-haul intercontinental flight from Prague to from Hanoi to Prague, that's been canceled as well. So there are several plans that has been canceled all around. So unfortunately, when things rebound, then let's try it. There was what is your favorite A340 flight? I think my favorite A340 would be a 600 series. I've flown probably most airlines, even Iberia. I've flown one time when they first had it in 2003. I've flown a Mahan Air A340-600 Virgin. From Etihad, of course, Qatar A340-600, Cathay Pacific A340-600, Hainan A340-600. I love the big engines and then also the wing is right in the middle, so you have to kind of sit in the second section of the fuselage, look out to the wings on the 340-600. And I love watching the takeoff and land from outside the airport because it's so elegant. It's just really, I think A340 might be even more favorite for me than the A380 just because it's so elegant looking. This question, previous, what you work and what else? So I've been working 14 years in the finance and banking field. I started working as a analyst in the finance and banking, a data analyst. I worked also in Bloomberg for about a year and a half in their global data section in Australia. Then I moved to the Abu Dhabi, working in a government investment firm, government investment bank that has lasted another 8 years for me. So I previously worked in totally not related to aviation, which I spent all my weekend and my time off flying, traveling, and doing aviation. Yeah. Do you collect airplane models? Of course I do. I have probably, I would say, I lost count how many airplane models I have, honestly, but I would say I've been collecting since early 90s. When I first into aviation, there was two things really helped me to get into aviation, interested in aviation. One is when I was around 12-year old, I started visit Kai Tak, where I was growing up in Hong Kong, and Kai Tak was the primary airport in the city of Hong Kong, where every second landing was a 747. And the second reason I love aviation is because I started collecting die-cast model. I started with Herpa wings. My first model is actually Libyan Arab 727, which is very, very strange. It's in a gold color, but I started collecting those. That really propelled me into aviation. Then I became more of a plane spotter, taking photographs and videos. Okay, let's go back to some of the other question. When will you fly Starlux? Look, I understand Starlux is suspended or temporarily grounded at the moment after a very bad startup for the first 3 months. Typically, I would prefer to fly their long haul service. That's sort of, you have more time to create a better video to shows the airline long haul experience. It's a lot better than a short haul 3-hour intra-Asia flight. So let's wait until when they receive the A350, and I'm sure Starlux will be on my list to fly. Yeah, sorry, but I do have another question. Oh, so I selected you twice, Franz. What do you think of Philippine Airline? Will you fly them again? Yeah, Philippine A350 is good. Philippine is actually improving, 4-star airline by Skytrax. I think Philippine Airlines is lots of fun, actually. The crew are very fun, but you have to initiate some fun with them. Then they will return a lot of fun on you. So Filipino people are great people. We're very fun-loving people, and also very satisfied. Although you guys don't have a lot of things, but you are very, very good at making the most out of every situation. What's your most luxurious flight? I've been fortunate to flown a couple private jets. A lot of private jet owners invite me to go on their planes. I've flown the 747 SP on the ex-Qatar States SP owned by the ex-royal family plane last year. So you can see the video on the 747 SP video. Have I been to Romania? Not yet. That's also on my list to visit Cluj-Napoca. When will you fly SAS? So this is on the plan this year. If you go to my blog, samchui.com, you will see an article I wrote, My Time Through the Crisis. It's basically planning about, telling you about all my plans in the first half of this year. But due to the coronavirus, we will put all the plans on hold at the moment. And when situation return, yes, then let's do this. Yeah, this thing is interesting about the outer space. I don't know about this because I probably have to go through some physical training about it, and I am wonder about it, but I've been less enthusiastic. But obviously, if there's a chance, maybe one day we can work with something on this with Virgin Galactic, which they are actually based in the U.S., not far from my mother's house right now in Mojave, in California here. So it's not very far, and hopefully when the situation return to normal, we can do a video so I can understand also what they are about, you know. How do you go to visit a cockpit, and what do you think of online school? Look, I'll answer the first part. How do I go to visit a cockpit? There's you can visit a cockpit before takeoff and after landing. That shouldn't be an issue, most of them. You just need to ask the crew and give them a valid reason. Sometimes you can just say you're interested in aviation, you're an aviation geek, and that should be enough. I never really have a lot of resistance on that. The second part of filming you've seen during takeoff landing, those are filmed by GoPro cameras, mounted, pre-mounted. So not necessarily I'm inside during the critical time in the cockpit, but a lot of time when I do a vlog, I will proactively contact the airline, letting them know that I'm making a vlog on board to preempt out, just preempt out and get the approval of filming. Because a lot of airline would not approve you to film if you don't tell them in advance. And also, if you let them know, you might have a better chance to get better content. Why want to be ordinary if you can do better? Pursue a better opportunity, let them know, then they might be able to let you in the cockpit as well during the flight, but not during the critical times. It's really depends. There are lots of paperwork requirement if you go into the cockpit during the flight. You will have to satisfy the Civil Aviation Authority of that country, of the airline operating from and to. And also you will have to get approval from the airline operations, usually from the head pilots as well. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. Will you fly to Nicaragua soon? I have never been to Nicaragua. I think it's Managua, right? I've flown TACA many, many, many years ago. I've flown TACA to Quito from New York. So it was New York to San Jose, I believe, and then San Jose to another place before I get to Quito. But I haven't got a chance to visit Central America that often. Don't you try Sri Lankan airline? Yes, I have actually made videos before on Sri Lankan. I've flown the A340 Sri Lanka many times. They used to have very good fare from Dubai, from the Middle East to Thailand to Singapore. So if you go back to very old video, you'll be surprised. You will see something nice there. I've never been to Poland. Poland is also one of those countries lately. I know aviation has taken off. Polish airline has expanded a lot. So it remains interesting to try. Okay. Yeah, I did sit in the cockpit the whole flight, maybe on some of those private jets, which you can do pretty much if the pilot allow you to. And also I have flown delivery flights. Delivery flight would be a different game. When your name is on the manifest, on the list, you can access the cockpits, which a lot of airlines will allow media to be on the delivery flight to access the cockpit as well. So there are times I've been on the whole flight in the cockpit and I eat in the cockpit as well to a crew rest. I also flown the Qatar Airways 747-8 cargo. A lot of time I was there as well. I think this person is from Thailand. Do you like Thai Airways? I do. I am a huge fan of Thai Airways. I've flown their 747 probably 50 times. Between Australia to Thailand, inside Thailand to Phuket, also to Europe on the 747-400. I have to say Thai Airways has really, really suffered. It's one of those classic case, a state-owned airline, same as South African, same as Alitalia. It really has a lot of complexity in this airline. It's not just about, aviation-minded people, personnel managing this business, but it has a lot of ex-military people. It has a lot of non-aviation personnel interrupting the business. You can look at Thai Airways fleets; they suffer a lot. They have every type of plane: A330. They use that A340. They have 787, A350. You can look at their fleets. It's just like they bought every single plane. They need to streamline, which they have done quite a bit of work. But then, in the climate in Thailand, you have Air Asia, you have Nok Air, you have all the low-cost airline competing in Thailand. It's really difficult. Look at Malaysia Airline, and they've been struggling because they've been competing with low-cost airline, which has a far lower cost base than they are as a legacy airline. And Thai Airways' future is depending on how well they can restructure to lower their cost base to be competitive, because they still need to carry the flag of Thailand while maintaining a far superior service because their customers are used to that. Will you fly Royal Air Morocco, Peking to Casablanca, and then why not fly Ryanair Morocco to Europe? I've flown Royal Air Morocco already from Montreal to Casablanca on the Jumbo, and Casablanca to Doha on the 787. So I won't be doing the same plane again because there are a lot of other opportunity out there to do other things like SAS A350. There's a lot of people asking me about that. So SAS is high on my list. Let's see anything more. There's a temporary internet slowdown. Just hold on. Okay, what's your message to your friends in the aviation industry during this difficult time? Thanks for joining me because earlier when I started the thing, I gave a message already is let's try to get through this quickly by staying safe, staying close indoor, and by not flying, which is rather, contrary to what I'm doing, right? I'm always flying, but I'm not at the moment to get through this. The quicker we get through this, the better it is for the whole industry. Favorite alliance is between Star Alliance and One World. More so on the Star Alliance front, just because their network is a little bit bigger and there's a lot more airline in there. I have a lot more airline mileage program with United, with Singapore, with a lot of airline inside that I fly very often, like Turkish Airlines, things like that. Yeah, I would love to try that again, but living really far away from Scotland, from the region there, I have to spend probably another week to try to make another attempt, hopefully a successful attempt next time. I flown Korean Air when they first got the 747-8. Then I haven't flown Korean Air for a long time due to I don't go to Korea often, and I haven't got lots of opportunity to fly on the airline on the routes Korean Air serve. But if there's another opportunity, yes, why not? It's not one of those airlines I'm avoiding or something. Um, I guess you're from Kenya, Bob, and I'd be very honest with you. I'm actually planning a big trip to Kenya. It will be involve flying Kenya Airways, most likely Dubai to Nairobi on a 787, and then flying Astro Aviation, which is a cargo airline which has a lot of old planes, DC-9, 727, and Fokker 27 in Kenya. This is all subject to when the normalcy return and when we have a better situation than currently we are. So you might see me in Kenya. Yeah, from Sweden. I haven't been to Sweden really, honestly. I always want to go to Sweden to see the Jumbo Hostel outside Arlanda. So yes, so Sweden is still on my list. Yeah, Alaska Milk Run is currently also canceled. It was on the plan. I actually have reached out to Alaska Airline, tried to collaborate with them to create a better video, but I should have done that a long time ago, but I wasn't really aware of they have a milk run. Only recently I've been starting to be more interested. At the time they had 737-200 and 400 Combi running the milk run, and I wasn't really thinking about it. Always thought Alaska was very cold to go to and to try to avoid going to really cold places. Now with the 700 series, I don't think it's as interesting as the 2 or 400, but I do believe these are very essential service to the remote community. They bring a lifeline and supplies there. Good question. Have you flown any military aircraft? The answer is no. I haven't flown any military aircraft, straightly speaking, because I am never interested. I'm more of an airline guy. I'm always interested in commercial airline. But for some part of my hobby, I never was into visiting flying military plane. I don't even think I can handle many G's inside of military planes. Let's try something others than some of the typical questions here. Have I flown Czech Airlines? I have flown Czech Airlines A319 before they gone to Smart Wings or before they gone to travel service or whatever. I haven't flown their long haul because I understood they only have one A330, which is also grounded, used to fly Prague to Seoul, Incheon. Yeah, I've flown the A319, which is which is okay, which is fairly respectable. Yeah, how was my experience at Houston Bush? I transited a few times with United. One time I even had a global service a car pickup at on next to the airplane, take you to the gate to the next plane. The transit was fairly easy. I've never been doing any plane spotting there. Although I understood there is good opportunity in the garages, parking garage. Not often I get to visit Texas for some reason. I'm always more on the West Coast, perhaps where my parents live. And yeah, so maybe this is something I should visit a bit more. If I ever get a chance, I'll let you know. Okay, let's look for something. How many hours have I flown? So I need to go back to check my logbook, which I'm very old school. I still maintain a logbook in the Microsoft Excel format. I believe I've flown over about nearly 8,000 to 9,000 hours. I have flown about 2,200 flights, something like that. The most impressed business class product on all the new ones. Yeah, it's a very good question because there are lots of impressive business class. Almost all the 7A and 350 has flatbeds on it. Recently, I've seen the Aeroflot A350 come with a private suite, this is the next industry benchmark now, is to have mini suites in business class. You've seen airline like Qatar Q Suite started first, and then now we've seen Delta One has the suite, and now even Aeroflot has the suite. So British Airways also has a suite, although the door isn't very high enough to suit off the complete privacy, but it's a added amenity to the private traveler who wants a more privacy, who want to be less seen, but again, they will be less sociable on a plane as well. Pros and cons, everything we do. So hopefully that answers it. Do you like Biman Airlines? I do. I actually flown 10 times on Biman DC-10. Long before I've flown their 7A and 777. The only thing I never flown on Biman, I really wish I could go back time, is the Fokker 28, which I photographed it. They were flying to Cox's Bazar. So I hope you like my answer. Yeah, so this is a very good question from Jonas. How do you think aviation will make it out after the pandemic? I think things will slowly and gradually return. It won't be a V-shaped bounce. You will never see bounce back to 100%. From 9/11, from 2008 meltdown, you will always slowly taking a few percent climb back at a time. I would not expect to see a full return until the pandemic dies, even 6 months later, because the confidence takes time. Lots of people will slowly travel once they set the plan. Their priority is probably their job security. So once they have some job security in place, they will take leave and travel again. So the aviation industry will be suffering and will be gradually coming back, but not as strong as people would think. It would not reach back to the level it was for some time, unfortunately. How is budget airline going to survive in Emirates? What's your favorite A350? Okay, lots of question there. It really isn't about budget airline, a full service carrier, like how they're going to survive. One thing you will look at is an airline need to have a strong cash flow position to maintain and preserve cash during difficult crises like this. So airlines like Ryanair, they do have a lot of good balance sheets and lots of cash to try to survive, even if all the flights are grounded. And then all of these carriers will probably need government assistance at some point because none of them has weathered through a crisis. This is unprecedented times for aviation because the demand has collapsed globally, not just one region. Just there is no travel demand at the moment at all. And then there's only cash outflow for cancellation and refund and paying off the salary, the leases, the fixed cost. Airline is a very high turnover, very low yield, high volume business. So, airline turns billionaire into millionaire. Really is a novelty, runs an airline. It's all the glamours and novelty, but it's not really a profitable business as a lot of people would think. But it really is a labor-intensive industry right now. A lot of people working the airline really are suffering because of the grounding at the moment. Yes, aviation YouTuber doing collaboration. I have thought about my favorite. One of my favorites aviation YouTuber is Jeb Brooks, which we did a video. We accidentally bumped into each other on the Emirates flight, which I actually enjoy Jeb, and I've flown again with Jeb on the Singapore A320, A350 ULR from Newark to Singapore last year. From time to time, yes, if we happen to be in the right place to coordinate, it takes a lot of coordination to pull off a project like that. But yes, I'm very open to it. Oh, from Zambia. I have never been to Zambia. I was told, yeah, I should come to Zambia, Lusaka, right? Yes. Turkish airline, yes, I am a big fan of Turkish Airlines. The first time I flown Turkish airline, I actually couldn't connect with Turkish. I found it weird. But then after one or twice, I actually found that, oh, this is interesting. It's somewhere between Europe and Asia, right? So no matter you're from Asia or Europe, you can actually connect yourself. They're very friendly ones. You told them about you like Turkey. They truly appreciate you. And Turkish people are very kind, very hospitable, very eager to show you the best of Turkish food, best of Turkish coffee, Turkish tea. So always a good time. When I think about Turkish airline, I always smile because they fly to lots and lots of places. And A350, they are receiving A350 very soon. So I hope to try out when A350 of Turkish Airlines flying. This is a very good question, actually. It's a very basic question. Why do you love aviation? It's when you're young, when something hits you, you couldn't explain, right? When something you just into, some people into action figures, some people into Star Wars, some people into Nintendo. But for me, it was because I love traveling. I like the curiosity of flying. I was able to totally relax and disconnect in the plane, in the cloud, above the cloud, in the air, rather than on the ground. I feel more comfortable actually inside a plane than sitting at home. So I couldn't explain why I love aviation, but inside my heart, I knew I just love airplanes and travel, and I love a lot of things come with aviation. So I have this passion, I would say almost lifelong since I was 12. So it's been carrying me through all these crises. It's been carrying me through all the difficulties in my life that I stay true to my passion. I stay true to my hobby. So this is why I love it, because it's something I can fall back on. Do you follow sports? I follow basketball. I used to be a very big fan of NBA. So at the time I grew up, was all Michael Jordan before Kobe Bryant even. And I still, watch from time to time when I'm not too busy. Sometimes I look at football as well. Will you buy your own private jet? Yes, I am. This is my goal, to get a secondhand, smaller private jet and to have my logo on it. So the logo you have seen is this one here. Oops. I think the internet is being slow, so you might not see it. Yeah, this question, yeah, the front of KLM, right? I actually don't know when exactly KLM is going to retire the 747. At this moment, I'm still seeing the scheduling beyond April, because they were saying end of March, brought forward from end of the October. They're still flying. If you look at flight radar, earlier I saw they still have flights to Curacao or to the Caribbean, and also they have flight to Los Angeles with the 747-400 Combi. The other route I don't know what they're doing now that they used to do. I did it in January with them, was the Combi flight to Mexico. So 747 flies to Mexico, and today they also flew to Shanghai, I saw on flight radar. It is sad because if they have surplus, they have newer airplane and they don't need a 747, so airline would not just keep them around because of high maintenance cost. They would rather retire them and sell off to get cash flow. And I don't think anyone else going to buy them, so they will probably come into the desert in the US. which you have probably seen my vlog of the desert storage. What's my favorite first class seats? This is also very interesting. I like 747. I like the nose area. So any 747 first class seats in the nose area, I do feel very amazing. I love the latest Emirates, Etihad, those first class exclusive suites. Those are very privacy, and I can enjoy a fine glass of wine or a beverage inside the planes, looking at the IFE, enjoy a nice movie in your own cocoon, right? What app do I use to edit my video? So I use Final Cut Pro. Because I have grown quite a bit, I also have 2 part-time editors helping me out. So some of them using Adobe, and some of them using Final Cut Pro as well. And then we also use the After Effects in Adobe to come up with some of the effect in the video. Yeah, I love Mauritius. I think Mauritius was way better than I expected. I just expecting an island with beach, and that's it. There was a lot of diversity, a lot of color, very good food, flavorful, and very friendly people. They speak a lot more English than I expected. I thought they were all speaking French in Mauritius. But yeah, I had a hell of a time. I didn't have it long enough time. I have 3 days there, but my schedule was so full. You know, I was going to safari. I was going to the Casella in the south. I went to the airport every day to do some plane spotting. I stayed at the north side of Mauritius, which is the hotel. Let me think out the name. Something like Bioche, something like Biche, or something like Biche. I can't. It's a beachcomber resort. Okay, first of all, Bhutan is a very unique country that you must go one time in your life. You feel very happy because you forget all about your trouble, because it was so green and so nice to see the countryside, you know, far from the polluted cities in many metropolitans. Bhutan is very unique because they're preserving tourism. They have a quota. It's very expensive, but again, it's something very quality, you know. Yeah, Las Vegas, which I am actually right now in my mom's house. I have plane spotted from time to time from the viewing area and also the garages. St. Martin, yes, I've been to St. Martin many times in my life, very long ago before the KLM stopped their 747 there. And I used to spot their MD-11 and 74. Talking about the upcoming video as well, I want to show you guys a picture. You know, I don't know if any of you could realize this airplane here. This airplane is also very rare. There's no more airplane like this to fly now in the sky. So there you go, another one of these. So this airplane is the 707, which I was rather fortunate. I've flown it in 2004, 2006, and 2013. And I am actually reproducing a video based on lots of older footage I have. I want to show you guys what the experience is like flying on the 707, because many of you probably wouldn't have this opportunity. So it's like I did a video on the Concorde, what the Concorde flying experience like when I flew the Concorde. And I would love to do the 707. And eventually, if I have enough footage, I want to do the L1011 as well, the TriStar. So it really is a very unique experience. The 707 was built and first flight was made by Pan Am in 1958. At the time, the air tickets between New York and London was £250. But it only cost £1,800 to buy a house in London at that time. Can you believe it? So the air ticket is about 20% of a house, which is very expensive at that time. And so it was the first Boeing jet ever made. And Boeing still inherited so much the cockpit design, the system design onto the latest 787 from the 70. Yeah, I love this topic, fly the Illusion 96. I have plans as well, honestly. I have plans to fly the Il-96 on Cubana. And, you know, it's kind of you looking back how many plans I have made so far this year. Because of the current crisis, I am not flying at all. So let's just wait until later to see how many more I can get on. I have plans to fly on SAS. I plan to go to Kenya. I plan to fly the Il-96 to go to Cuba. You know, and a few new airlines like Bamboo Airways. So there'll be a full-on year later when things return normal. Yeah, some of these I've flown on 70 when I had to go to my grandma's funeral. Amazing. Tell me which 70 you've flown. Opinions on Vistara. I never flown Vistara in my life yet. I'm still waiting. They start long haul service, and all the flying plan is on hold until later on in when we return to normal, and hopefully we'll try out. But so far, from what I've seen, the 787 looks fantastic. They are really in a little better situation. When Jet Airways demised, they became the second kind of long haul carrier soon. They becoming a second long haul carrier soon after India to carry flights out of India long haul from an Indian carrier perspective. Yeah, this is also interesting. The Iran Air, I've been largely neglected and ignoring their Airbus side of things because I used to have very good friends flying the 747 fleet. I had known Captain Moghadam, which is almost like a hero in Iran Air. I know many other captains in Iran Air flying Iran Air. Not so interesting on the A330 because it's a new airplane. It's not much different to any other airline. Although Iran Air has their own unique piece of hospitality. So that is something I will always consider. Maybe the A300, A310 soon again. They now become old enough. They're the next to go in the line. Okay, I have never had a situation like that. However, I have some other interesting situation. When I used to fly with a friend cross country in the U.S., we flew from Long Beach nonstop to Phoenix. We ran out of gas. So we ran out of gas. We had to declare emergency landing in Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport in 2004. Now, the airplane is consuming more gas than normal, so we're unable to do the long haul Cessna 172 cross country flight. I have also been on flights that were previously told there was a bomb on board, but then they searched and searched. They couldn't find a bomb, so eventually we took off. That was in Russia. That was in Siberia on the Illusion 86 on Sibir airline. Now the airline became S7. So I have plenty of interesting experience, but I never had a oxygen drop mask. The most expensive flight I paid was actually costly about nearly $7,000 on the Etihad residence one way from Abu Dhabi to Paris. And a lot of people think that I actually got paid by the airline to do so. No, I actually paid by my own. Not only I pay for that flight, I also a lot of time will contact the airline to tell them I'm doing some filming, and literally like I'm paying the airline to advertise for themselves. So because I love airlines and I'm such a geek, I want to have the best video made, and I go out of my way to help airlines. Can you believe it? I go out of my way to help airlines instead of I being the passenger. They should give me a good treatment. I go out and help them to make a good video as well. And I'm not complaining because I truly enjoy what I'm doing. And I really enjoy to see all the airline, all their latest products showcasing the video. Yeah, this is a good question. What's your video uploading schedule? It's always on a Saturday. So sometimes it runs twice a week. We have Wednesday and Saturday. But mostly it will be once a week on every Saturday afternoon. If you are from India or Pakistan, it will be in the afternoon region. This live chat, I noticed that we have a lot of people from this region in Asia, and partly because this is your evening time now. I do want to thank you for your support and watching my video, and a lot of curiosity, a lot of questions. But I'm going to select more, give the benefits to other people in other region to come up with some questions and ask, right? I never flown the 777X yet. I haven't flown that, but I've flown on the test aircraft on the A380 when the A380 were doing route proving. So first they have to prove the safe to fly around the world. They receive certification from EASA and FAA, and then when they are in the route proving points, they will invite media to go on board. And I will hope that I will fly the 777X soon once they receive all the clearance from the regulator. Air Canada, I actually haven't flown Air Canada for a very long time. I only flown once when they had an A340 from Vancouver to London. That was like 2001 or something, 99 maybe, when they have the very old green color seats. So Air Canada, for somehow they escaped it from my flying schedule. Even I've flown on Noli Nord, the airplane from Montreal, 737-200. And I've flown WestJet 78. I've flown also, what else I've flown in Canada? You know, I think that eventually there will be a chance for me to fly Air Canada for sure. For Aegean, no, I have never flown Aegean airline business class. Although I have an Aegean, the flying bonus, the frequent flyer program. I bought lots of miles, because I'm a miles geek as well. I bought lots of miles and used them to redeem on first business class on other flights. But no, I am not. I haven't flown the Aegean yet. So thank you so much. Thank you, Hippo. You need to go back to sleep. I think Hippo sleeps a lot. So thank you, Sam. Would you like to come by my house? So let me know where you live. If I have a chance, maybe I will. Ringway, yeah, Manchester, right? Will you ever do a spotting video? In which airport? I actually have a lot of spotting footage. I have spotting from all over the world, from Singapore, from Incheon, from Los Angeles, from London Heathrow, from Paris. Maybe we should just make one gigantic 10-minute like fast cut, one every minute, one airport, there was a question about, have I ever been to Lukla? Yes. If you look at, I have an very old video. I've been to Lukla in 2011, which is like 9 years ago. This year, I was supposed to have planned in the spring to go to Lukla and Jomsom, but I again postponed it right now to stay safe. Okay, I've never been on Pan Am. No. Yeah, this is also a nice question. What was the best dish in the sky? The best dish I had was on Air France on their La Première, which is first class. They have a duck confit, which is covered completely by potato pomace on top, and a very tender 5-spice duck meat, very tenderly done, very moist in the middle amount of potato. So if you look at one of my old Air France La Première video or True Report on my blog, you will see that dish there. So I think I will stop live in 5 minutes because we've been live over an hour now. Again, thank you very much for a lot of people's giving the support here. Any plan to fly Malaysia Airlines again? I don't have any imminent plan right now. You never know where your travel will take you. I've flown the 350 quite a few times now. I haven't flown their A330. But at some point, if I come through to Asia again, yes. What's the worst airline in my opinion, right? I don't have, and I cannot name one worst airline. It's very unfair to say some airlines it's the worst, right? I believe we all have moments saying, this is the worst ever. But if you think objectively, right? If you look at a well-run airlines, well-managed airline, it's probably well-loved with good reputation, with very good cash flow, very strong, stock relations with investors. So some of the worst airlines probably are those ones that is not very well-run, that often go out of business or need government bailed out. I wouldn't name names because there are a lot of airlines that is not well-run with very low morale in staff and just not making good, viable business decision. So it's very different. Sometimes an airline gave a lot of good first business class service, might not make money because you're looking at, airline service is completely different to the financials. Okay, I will take a couple other questions. I think this is a very good question. Will you fly the MAX again? Yes, no doubt. I have confidence in the MAX. MAX has been the best-selling airplane history ever in the airplane history ever, outselling every other model and has been a strong competitor to the 320 Neo. Right, MAX will be the most scrutinized and the most safe airplane ever when it goes back to the sky because it has suffered 2 fatal crashes. It has went through so much media, regulator, scrutiny and also the manufacturer Boeing scrutiny. And I have every confidence in Max when it return. And I have no hesitation to fly on one Max. And I would love to make a video showing the simulator, showing the simulator what it's like on the Max before and after. Wow, this is amazing from Papua New Guinea. I've never been to Papua New Guinea, but I plan to go to Fiji. And also maybe from Fiji to some other islands around the Pacific. Never been to PNG, but you know the world is small now. I'm ticking off lots of countries on the list, so I'm sure I have chance to fly again. I have. Have I ever flown? Oh, DIA. Can you fly to Denver? Not at the moment, but I've been to Denver many times on United Transit. I have been to Brazil. If you look at my blog and my older posts, I've been to Brazil a couple of times in 2013, 2001, 2004. I've been to Iguazu. I've been to Rio. You know, I'm just not really having lots of content out from Brazil, but it's one of the really cool country. Always very, very nice people, nice food from Brazil. Thank you so much. Um, Yeah, interesting. I haven't thought about the greatest challenge do you face after the coronavirus threats. I believe life is more a cyclical thing. So you've gone through cycles in life. You have down moments, you have up moments, you're on upswing or downswing in life. But that's all part of life, right? So, for me, the greatest challenge for me is always trying to continue pursue what I want to do in the right direction, focus in what the area I want to improve in my life. I don't see any other greatest challenge to me because to me, nothing comes as much of a challenge, honestly. It's just some area you need to work on and focus on things with yourself, and that will be better. Okay, 110 in Philippines. Thank you so much for staying so long with me, and I will also get off soon. So let's ask one last question here. Let's answer this from Teresa. Are you able to cope with jet lag? So I found I know I'm not a health expert or really a much of a approved expert to say about this jet lag topic or any overcome fear flying topic, but from my own extensive flying history and experience, I think that if you stay up most of your day and sleep in the pattern in your destination clock. So if you arrive in the morning, try to stay up, don't fall asleep, and then sleep in the nighttime. That will really help you to correct your pattern sooner than later. When I flew the Qantas nonstop from London to Sydney, after we take off London, it's already in evening of Sydney time. So we were told straight away to go to sleep and then wake up in the middle of the flight when Sydney was morning and staying up. So that really helped. When you arrive Sydney in the afternoon, then you can go straight to sleep in the evening by staying up in the afternoon and go straight to sleep in the evening. So if you can think ahead of your destination clock and try to time it during your flight, that might help. Okay, so thank you very much today, everybody. And the most important thing is to stay safe in the current environment. I couldn't emphasize how important it is. Let's get through all this together. The quicker we get through it, the less pain and the more enjoyment we can enjoy aviation back to flying soon. The giveaways link is in the video description here, is in the live description. It seems like we have lots of questions at this point. We're thinking. So thank you very much and stay safe, guys. Ciao.